Hi, this is National Repeat Day. I look at our country today and think to myself, man, we keep repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. Protest turn into riots. Riots turns into looting. Now, some of my earliest memories in life, and I've seen it all throughout my life, were riots in the cities, were riots on college campuses. Now, people, do not get me wrong. Protest is a right that we as Americans have. In fact, this Saturday is D-Day, and people fought on the beaches of Normandy so that we could have the right to protest. But just because people have the right to protest does not mean that they have the right to pillage and plunder and steal. However, we do have an issue in our nation that I think really needs to be addressed. We have two totally different cultures in our nation today that are in conflict with each other. Now, we can say that it's liberal and conservative. We can say it's Republican versus Democrat. We can say it's black versus white. But the reality is that there is different perspective on the way people look at things. And we need to find some common ground here. Now, back when I was in the newspaper business, I was going to hire a young African-American man who was a junior at the University of Michigan Flint. We decided to meet at a gas station that was closed for the night. And then I'd meet him there, and I'd go show him where the warehouse of the papers was at, and then we would go out and run the route together. That way he could learn the route. Now, when I got to the gas station, the young man wasn't there. I waited 15 minutes. I waited 20 minutes and finally decided, I got to get to the warehouse. I got to pick up the papers because I'm going to have to deliver this route tonight. And so that's exactly what I did. I went back to the warehouse. I got the papers and I delivered the route. Now, the next day I got 2 phone calls. The first phone call was from a former driver of mine. He had just gotten out of prison. He did well for me in the past. In fact, he was an excellent driver in the past. And so I decided, I'm going to hire him. I felt comfortable with it. It wasn't a violent crime of anything. He got in an accident and somebody died and somebody had to go to prison for it. And I'd meet him in that same parking lot to take him back to the warehouse. So I hired him. Now, later on that day, that young college student gave me a call and explained to me that after the police had passed by 2 times and were watching him both times, he decided it wasn't in his best interest to stay in that parking lot. And so he left. And guess what? That night, in that very same parking lot, I met that convicted felon, parolee, in that very same parking lot. Now, can I say something? I was always raised to respect the police. I was always said, you say hi to a policeman. Okay, you wave at the policeman. Okay, even to this very day, if I run into a policeman in a restaurant or in a store, I always look at him and say, now, you be safe out there. That's just the way I was raised. But apparently this young college student, this young man that, by the way, would not have been accepted at the University of Michigan Flint if he had a criminal record, who had never had a run-in with the police, was afraid of the police, and yet a convicted convict on parole, who happened to be white, was not. You understand the difference in the cultures there? One was raised to fear the police and the other one wasn't. We have a problem in our nation in this regard. And I don't know how we're going to solve it. Now listen, folks. Police are here to protect us, and it doesn't matter what color you are. The vast majority of them are doing an admirable job. And I pray for them, that God will protect them and that God will give them wisdom as they pursue their duties. I also pray for those that fear these public servants, that one day we may all understand the hardships that they go through to protect us. But until that day comes, My prayer is that we can come together as a nation, not as police versus citizen, not as white versus black, but one nation. Once again, under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. And that's my thought for today. God bless.